story.
Just do the fucking joke. Why do you have to ask your mother what's funny?
I wanted to see. No, she won't say it's funny. It's Barry Katz, everybody. Right? I know, I said that like there would be applause, but this is just you. I'm gonna read this intro, and it's long, and you're just gonna have to sit through it because it's good. You've done a lot. I don't know if you know that.
No, I wasn't aware.
Yeah. If you don't know who Barry Katz is, just
wait. Am I on? Is this show on the bio?
Yeah.
Are we gonna close with the show on?
We're gonna close. I'll put it on here next time we do a thing with somebody else. I'll be like, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but you're following Barry Katz. Here we go. Barry Katz is an American television producer. You stop me if any of this is wrong. Television producer, film producer, talent manager. He was the owner and founder of the Boston Comedy Club in New York City. Helped launch the careers of many successful comedians, right? Started a talent agency. Louis C.K., first client. True?
True.
Heard of him?
Many of Katz's clients were still teenagers when they started with his agency, including Dave Chappelle, Tracy Morgan, Jay Moore, Jim Brewer, Jeff Ross, Wanda Sykes. All true?
True.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Several of clients also became cast members of Saturday Night Live, including Moore, Brewer, Morgan, Daryl Hammond.
True.
Katz produced several comedy albums, including all of Dane Cook's albums.
Nice.
Jay Moore's album Happy and A Lot, which was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album. Also acted as a film producer on Cook's Films Employee of the Month, Good Luck Chuck, My Best Friend's Girl, as well as a TV documentary, I Killed JFK, that was released in 2017. Holy crap, Barry Katz, everybody.
Barry Katz.
Amazing.
The legend.
So, I did literally stop writing. I was like, I could just go on forever.
The credits stopped at 2017.
2017, I just stopped writing.
There's a whole list after that, but I guess it's good that I can just pretend I passed away in 2017. It's all good.
I was not a good
It makes
student.
sense that I passed away because this fucking guy looks like he's killed people in his lifetime.
This is true.
You look like a Colombian dictator.
That's the look I'm going for.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I don't drive the car of a Colombian dictator, though, so.
What's the thing you say on stage? That you're sort of Rican.
Yeah, I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm more sort of Rican because I don't really have like the sabor. I just try to get the look.
I just don't think you should sweat when you sit down. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I probably shouldn't. I think it's just, I don't know, I'm excited, I'm nervous.
But you're funny.
I'm trying, but
Not today. But
not today.
but
Today
you will
I'm just
be.
intimidated, and I'm just...
What are you intimidated about?
I don't know. It's like we're in a studio. We're with a legend. Yeah. So much is happening.
Listen, let's stop talking about Ben. Let's talk about me.
Right. Fair enough.
Yes.
Jason won. We met outside of Flappers.
Yes.
Listen, you don't have to brag.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He won the comedy festival there. And then...
Which year did you win the festival?
I won twice, but this year...
Jesus!
You won twice. That's amazing.
It's something,
Twice.
But, it's, we're
That's
doing
incredible.
our best. We're still
I think
grinding.
I know somebody who won, probably wrapped around your wins. A wonderfully sweet person, Janelle Draper.
Don't know what you
She
know.
won during the pandemic. It was a Zoom thing, like in
Nice.
2020 or whatever. 21.
Yeah, I was told that one time Tiffany Haddish won. And so I was just like, hey. So the guy's like, oh, you can be like her someday.
That's a great honor. That
Be like a sweaty Colombian Tiffany Haddish.
great honor.
Yeah. I mean, he won twice. And then when I went on, he was there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, you won twice. Get out of here.
I know, but I like
He
to
went
feel
back
like
again to win again. Embarrassing.
But Barry knows you got to grind it out, right? You got to keep going. You got to, no matter what happens, you got to keep on the grind. And
I hope the Celtics are going to go back and try to win again.
I knew the Celtics were going to win, unfortunately, when that one guy passed away like 2 days before the last game. I forgot his name. What is that guy? That famous Laker who was I forgot his name.
I don't know.
But anyway, he was like a manager on the Lakers, and he always played for years, hated the Celtics.
Jerry West.
And then Jerry West passed away. I was like, Celtics are a lock. I was like, the Lord took him before he had to watch.
How did you guys get together for this podcast? And Getting Up, what was your second choice for a podcast?
Well, it was originally erectile
Big
dysfunction.
erection.
And we just changed it. We were like, we've solved that.
It was Erectile Dysfunction, a comedy podcast?
Yeah.
Didn't have the same
And then we were like,
zhuzh.
let's just keep Getting Up. It's good on Spotify, and then let's just not talk about that as much, and then we'll go into stand-up. And that's what we did. But we did leave the mic. It originally was a... Doesn't matter.
Nah.
But yeah, we met outside on the curb, outside of Flappers, doing a show.
Yeah.
And then we decided to do a podcast, and we started doing it, and that's it.
Yeah, we're both kind of
took off.
go-getters too.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the things, like, that's why I was kind of excited to have you on, just because your whole thing is like being a go-getter, like going for it, being undeniable.
Right.
And like, I don't know, not to sound too whatever, but like I'm so into that. I feel like you could be funny, but if nobody sees it, whatever. So you got to kind of get yourself out there. So we just met quick, and he was like, hey, let's do a podcast. Let's get something going. I was like, yeah, let's get something going. Bop, 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 bop.
We did it.
And
Now
we
we
did
shoot
it.
it.
Now we're shooting it. But I just like the idea of like it's something where it's on the level we're at. You know what I mean? We're not like Bobby Lee's. We're not like, you know, these huge people yet. But like on the way up, the most important thing is getting up at clubs. Can I get up? Did you get up at the Comedy Store? Did you get up at the Laugh Factory? Did you get up at the thing? And so like that sort of term about getting up, it's, you know, maybe double meaning if you're clever to like you're moving up the ladder, but also, you know, are you hitting the bricks? Are you getting out and doing the shows and trying it?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you do a couple shows here, a couple shows there, and then you meet somebody, and then you get to open for somebody, and so that's
Yeah.
kind of what the goal is, you know.
We're just hustling it. That's the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you've already, you won that festival twice.
Yep.
So the good part about somebody like you is that you, and anybody listening, is that you know how to do it.
Yeah.
So you have the example of how to do it. Now you might say, well, it's a smaller arena, but, you know, you still did it. And then you did it a second time.
Yeah.
And there's an enormous amount of comedians from all over the country that come there. And I know what you're saying. Some are not ready and some are or whatever. But you have to presume that at least 50 of them are at your level.
Sure.
And you're beating 50 of them.
Yeah.
And so the good news for you is you already have the formula to win. And not just win a contest, but to win out in the comedy clubs if you are getting up. Because what's the formula to move up? The formula is you go into a place, let's say, wherever. Let's say you can only get on at the Lab at the Improv.
Right.
Every time you go on at the Lab, what's the goal? The goal is that everyone in the audience thinks you're the best. The barback thinks you're the best. The bartender thinks you're the best.
Yeah.
The manager thinks you're the best. The comedians who hate you think you're the best.
Yeah.
And so now you've won that night.
Yeah.
But as with the NFL, there's still another playoff game. And you got to keep winning the playoff games.
And
And
maintain.
when you lose, it sets you back.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I think is the hardest part. Like, do you find, like, you've worked with so many comedians from, like, the bottom kind of moving up. Do you find that there is an issue with, like, psyching yourself out? Because a lot of times I feel like, you know, we talk about it all the time where you go up, you do a set, and you're like, I killed. And then you go up and you do that same set the next night and nobody laughs,
Yeah.
or it gets less of a laugh. And you start to go, hey man, was I wrong? Is it a fluke? Like, do you find that that's something that a lot of these, you know, comedians battle, where it's like, or does everybody think that they're the greatest ever?
It's not comedians, it's everybody. You know, doubt is the greatest dream killer. But what comedians don't seem to understand is that the audience is your writing partner. You're going on, and they're telling you what's working, what's not working. I know what you're saying, but I killed with all the stuff before, and it's not working here. Well, that means that it's not right. Just because it killed for that audience, it's got to kill for every audience. The timing, the way you ride the wave has to be that way.
Yeah.
And so I always tell comedians it's kind of a cancelable thing to say, so hopefully I won't get in trouble. But, you know, doing comedy at the clubs is like, if you're single, it's like a one-night stand, okay? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's the greatest thing that ever happened to you. But in both instances, you're never going to see the fucking person again.
Right.
So it's the same with the crowd. You're never going to see them again. Yeah. So you just have to look at it as like this is your work. You're going to work. It's not like, oh, I didn't kill. No, you're going to work.
Yeah.
And it can't always be spectacular. I remember this clip that I remember. I think I saw him say it live, but I've seen it on the internet so often. Giannis with Milwaukee, he'd won the championship the next year. I think they were knocked out in the first round. Mm-hmm. And somebody asked him the question, do you consider this a failure? And he got on the guy. He says, failure. What do you mean failure? You go out each time, and if you don't get what you want, then you go back the next time and get what you want. You can't get what you want every single time. Mm-hmm. So you have to have the mindset to come back. Look, I mean, I'm sorry I'm talking basketball, but
no, it's everything.
Jason Tatum, first team All-Star the last, I think, 2 years, goes to the Olympics, doesn't play 2 games.
Yep.
How do you think that makes somebody feel? Or Jaylen Brown wins the most valuable player award in the finals, doesn't even get selected.
Get on, yep.
And so anything in every profession can happen. How many times you've heard your friends say, hey, they fucking gave that guy promotion. I deserve that promotion. And so it's just, you got to put all that stuff out of your mind.
Barry Katz really is a bona fide legend. I mean, he's worked with the best. He's seen the best. He knows talent, and he knows the industry. In fact, he knows it so well that now he has a course that he put out called The Blueprint. Blueprint for Success in Comedy. Really great, industry-leading stuff, like the ones and zeros of how to get stuff done, how to really, move up in the industry, how to get recognized, what to do, whether you're an actor, a musician, comedian. He really laying out the blueprint, essentially, of what needs to get done to make it. Great stuff. Check it out on barrykatz.com. Also, he has an amazing podcast. Hilarious, filled with great interviews. Real inside baseball, all access. It's called Industry Standard. Definitely check that out on Spotify or wherever you listen to, Apple. I listen to it. I think it's great, and he has this great stuff. We talk about it here. But yeah, check out both Blueprint and the Industry Standard, barrykatz.com. Now back to the interview. Listen to one of your podcasts where you talk about, like, Ask Me Anything, and that's what I find a lot of people want to know. They want to know, like, what is that?
Yeah, I started doing that. Doing that. It's weird. People kept asking me, how come you just don't sit there and answer a question?
It's terrific. It's terrific. Yeah.
So I do it once a month. I do that, but I think that, again, going back to you, and Ben will dissect you in a second.
Sure.
You won, okay, not once but twice. If I were to ask you, how did you do it? How did you beat everybody and win? What would you say?
I was just as funny as I could be.
Okay, well, you're just as funny as you could be at Ha-Ha's Chuckle Time. You have to beat people.
Yeah.
So what was your strategy to win? Did you say before the contest, I'm going to win?
I did.
And the second time, did you say, I'm going to win?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right. And did you have a bad set ever?
I have had a bad set.
No, on the
on the festivals, no. I always did really pretty good.
Did you do the same 5?
Same 5.
Great. And you worked on that 5 for how long?
About 5 years.
Okay. So repetition.
Yeah, it's true.
Have you entered other festivals?
Yeah.
San Francisco?
I am not.
Why not?
I just didn't even know of its existence. I go through the list and I pick them.
You'll be at one this weekend.
I'll be at Palm Springs this weekend, so yeah.
Jason, this is your job.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're bringing up good points, Barry. Bringing up good points.
What do you mean you don't know there's you don't know?
No, because I think sometimes you forget, you're just like, I'm trying to be funny.
Comedy festivals in the country, list of.
All day. Yeah, you're right. I should put myself out there. It's just that Again, I think it's like the internal. I mean, I find like
Forget
the more
fuck the internal.
Do it to me.
The internal means nothing.
You're right. But it's there. It's there, Barry.
Get
It's
rid
there.
of it.
It's there. And so that's the thing.
Are you funny?
I think I'm funny. I do.
All right. Well, you're not funny if you think you're funny. You're funny if you're funny.
Yeah. This is a Yoda moment. I am funny.
You think you're funny?
Yeah. Try not.
This is your career? You know, what am I going to sit around and say, I think I'm good at helping people?
Yeah, no, you're right.
I think I'm good at managing. I think I'm good at producing films and television. I think, no, I'm good.
But yeah, I think that there's that thing. Again, you have so much history, so many things you've produced.
I've gotten crushed like a bug.
That's what I'm saying. Do you have that?
I've gotten fucking my ass handed to me. I mean, it's just like there's films that don't go. There's TV shows that are going and then they get canceled. There's, management clients. Sometimes you get fired. It's like, it's incredible what can happen. I remember I interviewed Rita Rudner. This is fantastic. I think you'll enjoy this. And I'm in her house in Laguna. It's just like a palatial mansion,
right.
Over the cliffs. And her daughter comes in, like 14, and drops a CD off on the table. And I introduced myself, and she leaves, and Rita says, "You see this? See, my daughter's a singer-songwriter." So that's amazing. What advice did you give her? She said, I sat her down and I said, "Listen, honey, I can buy you all the instruments you want. I can buy the sound equipment, the amps, the mics. I can build a studio in the house. I can get a record producer in here to help you mix everything and put it together. I can have writers write the songs. I can have backup singers. I can set up showcases for you, and I can invite all the people from the industry to see you. I can give you anything you want. There's only one thing I can't give you." Do you remember what that is?
I think I know, but go.
Adversity.
Yeah.
You gotta have it.
So
I remember. I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's if you don't like. You have 5 kids that you know of.
4.
4 kids that you know of.
Yeah, that I know.
There's one in Vietnam.
For sure.
So this is the thing. Do you have any kids that you know of?
No, not that I know of.
Oh, fantastic. So the thing is, Ben's like saying to himself, "Listen, I thought I was a part of this podcast, but anyway, so don't worry, I'm going to rein you in.
Watch it.
I'm going to rein you in here, Ben. It's all
good."
So what happens is when you have kids, your thought process is that you want their lives to be stress-free, no pain, no crying, no broken bones, no relationships that don't work, no job getting fired from. You want your children to have the perfect, calm, wonderful life. But as Ben knows, and you know, the people who have a perfect, wonderful life are ordinary.
Yeah.
And the people who have adversity are extraordinary.
Yeah.
And so, that's something that's really important. And in comedy, nothing is greater than that, because you're essentially learning the craft in front of people that are judging you. I mean, like, your producer here isn't learning the craft in front of 100 people judging him what buttons he turns.
Sure.
Or whether his headphones are the right color. By the way, not the right color. Anyway, so...
I was going to say something.
It's all good. I was just thinking to myself on this podcast, I was with Brad Williams overseas and in London and Dublin, and there was a show in Dublin where there was a sign language interpreter on the side, probably 20 feet away from him. And I'm just thinking about this because of what I just said. And he's doing his act, and he's killing, just doing his act, and just a regular act, and the person's signing on the side, whatever. And there's an applause break for something, and then all of a sudden you would never know that he's not doing his act, and he's whatever, but he's just saying, hey, listen, I just have to tell you that I'm going to take a break here because this guy sucks. I mean, this is, I'm just telling you, this guy isn't funny, but I just have to tell you, you are so hot. You are so beautiful.
That's so good.
And I was just wondering if maybe after the show we could get a drink together or something like that, because, you know, he doesn't know what I'm doing right now, but whatever. And so it was just an amazing moment. And so, not, you know, more amazing than me talking about this guy's headphones who you can't see. But anyway. But yeah, so I would say to you and every artist out there, the more you're able to do a biopsy of the doubt and the frustration, whatever, and just keep, you know, what did Confucius say? He said, knock down 7, get up 8.
Right.
You know, just keep going, performing, and, you know, it's all about the premises.
I love that.
You got great premises.
I love that.
You're also, I just was producing a show in Miami at this wonderful theater called the Faena, at the Faena Hotel, and I just had Sam J there. Now, Sam J, you know, I don't know if she were sitting here, she would say this or not, but, you know, somebody who always gets a lot of great things happen for her. You know, some people might say she's funnier than more people. Other people might say, well, she's less experienced as others or whatever. But I was in Miami and she was working on this bit, and I thought to myself, this is what everybody dreams of, finding a premise right like this. And it was so technically so simple, yet so complicated to write the bit about it, because it would take like probably 10 or 15 minutes to finish it, maybe a half hour.
Yeah.
The premise was, who is going to win the race war? Like if there was a war amongst all the races, who would win? I mean, you could go on
forever, yeah.
Right.
It was an incredible premise. And now I know some people might say, well, you know, Rodney Dangerfield was one of the greatest, and, you know, he was doing 4-minute jokes, you know, he wasn't doing premises or whatever. But no, but Rodney, if you really look at it, he was doing premises, stories, jokes in 4 or 5 seconds, you know.
And surprises too. I love that, where he goes this way and then surprises.
Think about that. Like yesterday afternoon, I went to the bar. I said to the bartender, "Surprise me." He pulled out a picture of my wife.
Right.
So we know that he's drinking during the day, which normally says you're troubled.
Right.
Possibly says you're an alcoholic. Possibly says you're drinking away all your troubles and you have a troubled life.
Mm-hmm.
Your bartender is your best friend because you're hanging out with him. The bartender pulls out a picture of your wife, so now you find out that your wife is having an affair with your friend the bartender. So now you know that your wife is cheating on you. It's like in
that.
in
Does it
4
like
in
that?
4 seconds.
4 seconds. Yeah.
No.
Incredible.
But then there's also the Jim Jeffries of the world that spend 13 minutes on a gun control bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that the great ones, and if you want to become great, you have to have that level of confidence up on stage where it's like life is a sale. Like everyone, the crowd, the other comics, they're like, holy shit, this guy is the real deal. This guy is cocky. He's powerful. He's killing. He believes in himself. He's got the crowd in the palm of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about. It's like, so if you're going on feeling like you have doubt, well, if wolves can determine whether you have doubt and
I think
fear,
it's not, the audience can 100%.
so then why even
100%.
go up with that feeling?
Yeah, I think it's like but it does sometimes feel like there is a manufacturing of that, where I feel
Who
like
manufactures it?
I do, where I
Okay.
confidently say like, I'm gonna go crush, do this, and then you look at the crowd and you go like, am I gonna crush? And like, no, you're gonna crush.
But
See,
why-
but there
why-
is like a talking to myself
but
where it
why
doesn't
should there
actually
ever be
knee-jerk
that
reaction.
dialogue?
That's a good point.
What's the point of the dialogue? We just I just want to know. Just tell me something, both of you. Just tell me.
I think it is
Honestly,
the idea.
will you tell me how that helps you?
It doesn't. It doesn't. I
So,
just think
okay,
it's
if
one
I
of those
tell-
where I feel like you.
So if I
Yeah.
tell you to put your balls on this table and pound them flat with a wooden mallet,
Okay.
is that going to help you?
No.
So I don't see you doing it. If I tell you that put your hand on the hot stove and burn yourself, no, I'm not going to do that. It doesn't help me.
Don't even entertain it. Yeah.
Well, it's a defense mechanism, though. That's where it comes from, right? Ultimately.
Yeah, I just think
'Cause
it's
you're
one
like,
of
I don't
these-
want to be hurt by somebody yelling at me like my parents yelled at me, or whatever they're gonna do.
So how does it help
That
you
hurts.
saying they're going to hurt me?
It doesn't.
It doesn't. It
doesn't
totally
help.
doesn't. And
But
and-
you're trying to keep away from that fear, I think. I'm trying to really think about why do I feel like, oh, well, I don't want to.
like when you go through times like when you're doing like a movie or something doesn't go through or like you're super close to the precipice of something and then it falls through. Is your first knee-jerk reaction like pff, moving past it? I'm going. I'm the man. I'm gonna win. Like, is there ever
Yeah,
these
that-
things where you
next.
go, okay,
Next.
cool,
Next.
love that.
It's like I've had the experience. It's been amazing. I mean, it's like in the last movie I did, this Max Dagan movie with Michael Madsen and all those guys. It's like, if it doesn't go, I got to be on a set with a guy who did 8 Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm with Rob Morrow, who did God knows how many years of Numbers and Northern Exposure. I'm with Zach Gordon, who was the lead in 3 Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies that made God knows how many billion. It's like I get to hang out with Jay Moore, who's had an extraordinary career and
So funny.
and talks about sobriety and whatever. So there's always great things that can happen. I love all the things that you see that go on with people that I work with, people that I don't work with. Tony Hinchcliffe, it just blows me away. There's many people who worked at the Comedy Store. Hundreds. Well, why did he break through?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can tell when you talk to him, if I can give a shit about what anybody thinks, and if he does give a shit about what people think, he's not telling you.
You wouldn't know it, yeah.
You never know
Right.
it. And so it's the confidence level of doing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes with people like Bert Kreischer, it's a level of confidence that's it's like you're almost like you're confident and you don't even, it's just this
beaming,
this blind confidence where you're like, hey, I'm a goofy guy, I'm gonna fuck around, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
fun and whatever, and finding your brand and finding your what you're all about. And I've met with so many comedians. I did a podcast with a guy who shall remain nameless, who experienced so many levels of success. Was on a sketch show for years. And I asked him who he thought that he was at the level of in comedy. And he mentioned the greatest people in comedy. But he mentioned one word to describe himself that he would never use to describe the people that he listed. Lazy. He said, but I'm lazy. And I don't think people understand how that word and that action of being lazy, how incredibly powerfully negative it is.
So
And I'll give you an example. This is just a minor example. Let's say your wonderful esteemed producer here with the orange headphones. Okay? Let's say you're interviewing producers to produce this podcast. Okay? And one guy you meet is like, oh, I'm so excited to meet you. I love doing podcasts. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I study podcasts and I study how they're done and I look at how they work the board and how they go in and out, and it excites me so much, and I want to be so great at this, and I'm really looking forward to working with you.
Right.
And then the next person you interview is like, man, I fucking hate this business. This fucking board and this headphone shit.
Sure.
Fucking sitting in a room, the fucking foam on the walls. All these people think they're more important than everybody else. Fuck them. My baby mama needs some money though, so I gotta really, figure out a way to get some money there. So I'm fighting through it, guys. But I'm really looking forward to producing your podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Well, who are you gonna choose?
Yeah. Well, he's gonna be cheaper.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
he is gonna be cheaper. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, he's gonna be cheaper. But the point is like that's the thing. And so the energy that you put forth when you're in the club, when you're walking in the club, when you're everything, it's from the moment you walk in. It's like an acting gig.
It reminds me of 8 Mile with Eminem, where he's psyching himself up and then he has to go on.
In against all adversity, and you gotta win.
Yeah.
And every show you do is you're trying to win when people are against you. And even if you don't win, you're going to take some people down with you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think a lot of times people are just, their attitude is they're just tired, they're run down, they don't give a shit as much,
Or pretend like they try to feint, like, this isn't that important, I'm just whatever.
Look, I have a kid who, I'm not going to mention his name, but who has worked for me and came from another part of the country, across the country, to work with me and started doing comedy. And I am so fucking impressed with this kid because no girlfriend, and I know what you're saying. Well, what does that have to do with anything?
Oh, totally, I get it.
But the thing is, if you're whatever your sexuality is, you're a woman or a guy, every little thing detracts from what you're doing. And it's horrible because obviously, love is nice. It's nice to have companionship. It's nice but it makes you comfortable. Like if you're a comedian and there's a beautiful naked woman in your bed and, okay, I can go to the club where these are hard choices, or you're just out to dinner with somebody and it's like, oh, I got to do this spot. Oh, really? You sure you don't want to stay or whatever? And it can be reversed with guys, girls, whatever. Yeah. And every distraction there is can just take people completely out of it. And this kid is like, he's just focused every day. He just is going up at so many different shitty places. He's hanging out at the Improv, the Comedy Store, the Laugh Factory. Does a rotation every night, and it just never stops. And so I know that he's going to do great things because he's doing more than everybody else. And when you look at the 100% pie of everybody in your field, the comedy field, who are trying to get where they want to go, who's going to get there? It's the person who goes up the most, treats people with respect, has humility, but has confidence, power, great premises, and the will to win.
The will, yeah.
And so that's just it. And sometimes, like, when you sit across, and this isn't meant as I promise it's not meant as a negative thing.
Please.
But when I'm here sitting across from both of you, if you were to see, honestly, if you were to see the video of this and just see, like, let's say you're the way you are now in a comedy club and there's 12 people are going to be performing and you guys are in there, you're not really giving the illusion that fear me.
Right.
Look out, motherfuckers. There's a new sheriff in town and I'm going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
It's more like, hey, I'm here. Let's hang out. Let's have a good time and let's whatever. And to me, you have to like.
You gotta be a killer.
You have to take the room.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be like a. Look, Ralphie May, when he was in a room, he'd just be sitting down. Hey, pal, yeah. How you doing? Hey. How you doing, killer? What's up, sucker? Just like very soft-spoken, sitting down, and energy very low. And then when he walked on that stage, holy shit. I mean, it's like, what the fuck happened? A bomb dropped.
Yeah.
And he'd come off stage and he'd be sweating and he'd be all out of breath and sit down and go, hey, great set, Ralphie. Thanks, player. And so it can be where you can be quiet and understated in the room. But when you go on stage, you got to blow people the fuck away.
Yeah.
And the naked girl still will be there when you're done.
Yeah, maybe more. Maybe more.
Maybe she'll stay.
No, it sounds like that's the difference. If you want the naked women, you got to be a killer. You got to just go out and believe. And I think that's the hard part. I think, believing in yourself and having that sort of level of confidence in yourself. Because I'll tell you, to be honest with you, the people who I've seen in comedy rooms, for the most part, who are like, I'm going to go up and I'm going to crush. This audience has no idea what they're looking forward to. Those guys usually eat their balls pretty hard. And so I think there is an element to not being so, I guess, confident in yourself, but just like, delusional in yourself.
As long as you know it here.
As long as you know it here. But I think that is a point. I think inside you do have to have a little bit of that. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to blow them away. I'm not going to do well.
And that's why I used your competition as an example. Because it's not a coincidence that you said before the competition, I'm going to win the fucking competition, and you won the competition.
Yeah.
And let's say you didn't win. So you didn't win. It's still the same, why...
No, you're right. Why smash your nuts on the table? No, 100%.
Or why, present a losing scenario? How does that help you?
You're right. I don't know what it is.
I'm just letting you answer. I do the same thing.
No, I don't know. I think.
Why do you do that?
Those are the differences. I think of the comment, as experience and as you go along. I think that the difference maker is that you feel that whatever, I could brush off the losses, but I'm gonna push forward.
Here's an interesting thing, Ben. I want to ask you this. So
okay.
Let's just tell me the last comedy show you did. Where was it?
Last night.
Where?
Baja Grill.
Great. You go to Baja Grill, how many comedians are waiting to go on?
9.
Yeah.
9. With the host, right?
Yep.
So there's 9 people. You know all 9 of them, or you know at least the list of all 9.
Right.
What number are you?
Middle.
5?
Yeah. 5, 6?
Right.
Yeah.
So before the show starts, what are you saying to yourself?
I was trying to decide if I should tell this joke that everybody that I mentioned it to said don't. And I was like, but I like it.
Oh, so you're listening to other people's voices.
I was trying to see if You're right.
What
He's
you
schooling
think?
us!
You think August Wilson is asking people, hey, what do you think of my play?
Love this.
Yeah.
Love this.
It was.
What are you asking people for?
I wanted to see if what I asked my mother, who's 70 and doesn't know comedy at all. I'm going to say this because to me, if she catches any of the joke, I know it's going to do well because she's not a great listener. She's just awful. I'm like, did you follow that story?
Just do the fucking joke. Why do you have to ask your mother what's funny?
I wanted to see. No, she won't say it's funny, and my father definitely won't.
So what? If you know if you're on Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah.
And you know what's behind door number 2 is the donkey.
Right.
Why do you choose door number 2?
Because, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good answer for that. I wanted to know, it really was about structure. I'm going to tell a story. Is this story, not whether or not it's funny necessarily, is it coherent because of the way I was telling it?
You think Chappelle is calling up his family members, hey, you think this is funny?
I don't think so. Not anymore.
Do you think Bill Burr is on the phone with his mom? Mom, Asian motherfucker, motherfucking Asian. That's
Yeah.
it. What do you think of that, Mom? Do you think that'll work? Do you think that's going to get me in trouble? Because I say a swear before the word Asian and the swear after.
No.
And I explain the joke. Do you think, Mom, is that going to get me in trouble?
It was, yeah. Structure-wise, I do that. I'll call and ask, is a joke.
So you're at the club. Do you say to yourself, I'm going to have the best set of the night?
I don't remember having that conversation about it.
So there's the answer. So you're not even prepared to have the best set of the night.
No, you want to go up there and really, really do well.
I just asked you, are you saying to yourself you want to have the best set of the night? I'm going to have the best set of the night. I'm going to fuck these people up. Were you saying that?
I mean, they seem like a very nice set of people.
I'm just
I don't wanna
asking.
fuck them up. I want to do really well. Yes, I want to figure out the formula.
What do you want, a fucking debate stage answering questions?
I'm trying to figure out.
Answer the question.
I can't.
It seems that's hilarious.
It's like the debater, the moderator asking the same question over and over again. You don't answer the question.
That's a good, yeah. I'm not sure I can answer that. No, I didn't remember thinking like I'm going to crush these people.
Okay, then.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that I cared about crushing them.
Oh, but that's a problem. He's teaching us.
Yeah, I know.
He's teaching us.
Tell me.
You don't care about whether
I want to do really
is
well.
better than everybody else.
I mean, as far as the other comics, I don't really care how they do, good or bad. Like I'm not about them. Like, so I don't care what they do. Like, I just wanted to go up there and do my thing.
You
I
care
didn't
if
really
they
care.
pass you?
Yeah, if I'm at a club, yeah, for
Do you
sure.
care if somebody who started after you passes you like a rocket ship?
Yes,
Why do you care?
because I don't. I
You
don't.
just told me you don't care about what.
Well, I don't want. Yeah, I want to be the guy afterwards that everybody knows.
Why don't you act like the guy?
Yeah.
Love this.
Well,
Love this.
I don't know that I don't do that. I'm glad you're asking me that because I don't know that I
Told
think
me you
about
don't do it.
Well, I don't think about it in terms of that, but secretly, like, I want after the club everybody to know, like, oh, well, he was clearly better than everybody else. Like, I would like
Okay,
that.
were you better than everybody else last time?
No.
So you failed.
Yeah.
You failed in what you were doing and how you were doing it because your mind, the way you prepared yourself, didn't give you the result you think you wanted. And you didn't get the result you wanted because that wasn't one of your goals.
Right.
I tell you something, though. This is fascinating. If I told you, Ben, that you knew you had this gig at the what's it called again?
The Baja Grill.
The Baja Grill.
Mm-hmm.
So you knew you had the gig at the Baja Grill, and a month earlier, your phone rings.
Right.
And you pick up the phone, and you recognize the number. And you pick it up, and it says, "Is this Ben?" Yeah, who's this? Never mind who this is. You have a gig at the Baja Grill 30 days from today. I've got your family and I'm holding them hostage.
Shit.
And if you don't have the best set of the night, you will never see them again. Click.
Right.
Are you going to have the best set of the night?
I mean, it depends on which members of the family. But,
Are you going to have
Yeah.
So true.
Why?
So
well,
true.
and I know you always, when I hit you up for stuff, you go, give me the thing that's, if you're drowning, I only want the best 5 you have when you're drowning. I know that's your thing. And I think here's one of I'll be vulnerable. Some of my comedy, I don't love it. It works, and it's good, but I'm not in love with it. And I don't know if that's good or bad. But if it works, then I'm like, I know those jokes are solid for 5 minutes. I know I can win with that. Let's do it.
Would you bet your family on those jokes?
Probably not. Some of my kids. Depending on the week. But no.
But you
no.
would have the best set of the night if there was a sense of urgency.
Yeah, probably. And when I'm writing, if I'm doing a scene in a movie, I do have that where I feel like, no, you're wrong. All of you are wrong. I'm telling you this will work visually, and I know. So comedically, I know I feel confident in that regard. Stand up, less so, but I have less experience doing that. So, but I get what you're saying. But I do feel that way. And in other ways in life, I definitely feel that way. Mafia-ish. Where I'm quiet, but don't cross me. So maybe I need to do that with stand-up.
Why'd you fire the contractor today? You fired the contractor today.
Communication.
You fired the contractor today.
Right.
Because he didn't or they didn't exceed your expectations.
Right. In the street, I fired them.
So you go at the comedy venue last night, and you not only don't you exceed your own expectations, you don't exceed the expectations of the person booking the show, you don't exceed the expectations of the audience, you don't exceed the expectations of the comedians. So you should be fired on the street.
Right. Yeah, probably.
Because you perform just like your contractor.
Right. Son of a
Why?
bitch. Yeah. I don't know. I think I really wanted to get material out that I knew wouldn't, even if I wasn't sure it was going to work, I was sort of forcing myself to write it, even though it would be painful if it didn't work. Because I don't want to stick to the same 5 minutes all the time. Some rooms I will. If I can go up at a club like Flappers or something and I want to win a contest, then I'm going to stick to the 5 minutes that works. And I'm going to do it. But if I'm going up in front of a bunch of people that I don't know who they are, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give that one some room to breathe. I'm really going to try that joke out on stage and see if it works, even though there's a good chance it's not going to. I'll let it breathe. And knowing that I'm going to fail and I'll be fine afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Discover the world with Delta Airlines. Experience unparalleled comfort, exceptional service, and seamless travel. Fly Delta, where your journey is their passion. Book now and soar to new heights with Delta. No, I know, because I feel like people have asked you a billion questions, so we won't ask any of those. First of all, you have this a school business blueprint for success. Love the blueprint, by the way.
Thank you.
Get the newsletter.
During the pandemic, I just was, I guess I was just bored, and I wanted to figure out different ways to do different things to help artists. So I just went into the studio that I just committed to this incredible radio podcast studio, and then the pandemic hit, and so I was tasked with this place that I was paying for. So I said, why don't I just create some content, do like a master course, do some different things from different interviews I had, and then create this thing where there could be a free community. There could be paid tiers where people get different levels of things, and then I have a meeting every Monday night that people can attend, and there's like an Ask Me Anything. I present the first set of a great comedian, and we analyze it. I'll do something where I have a roundtable guest from the industry one week, so there's all these different things that I do, and now there's over 900 people in there. It's amazing, and so I love helping artists, just like with the podcast industry standard. It's been like, I think, 11 years, and I just love, there's something about, and sitting down with people, and it's like, I'm always humbled because it's shocking to me. Like I don't have anybody booking it, whatever. It's just me randomly just running into people or asking them. So some people I don't even know why I don't answer. Like I said, I had Tiffany Haddish on. I'm like thinking to myself, I've known her since she was a teenager, and I've never asked her. And then you just ask her, and in 5 seconds she writes back, yes, what time, when.
Yeah.
So that I've had everybody from Kevin Hart to the president of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, to Caitlyn Jenner, to Judd Apatow, and it's just an incredible resource for people to learn about things. And I don't know, there's something wonderful about it, just being of value and helping people not make the same mistakes that I made along the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just thinking, does that make you feel like, you've done so much, and to be a gatekeeper that's willing to...
Clearly, I passed away in 2017.
Didn't do anything after 2017, but before that...
You're helping two humble comedians. That's what you're doing.
More stuff after 2017. Like, I
didn't even... Once we got to the JFK thing, I was like, I'm out.
No.
Cut me off. JFK got assassinated, and I got assassinated.
That's true. After that,
I know a lot of comedians who get the blueprint and listens to the podcast. Yesterday, last night, Joe Bando. Shout out to Joe Bando. He was there, And I was like, yeah, dude, we're interviewing Barry Katz tomorrow. I was like, dude, the Blueprint, holy shit. I was like, yeah, man. And it's like this idea that I think there's an element to it whereby helping people kind of explore that thing, but also getting the word out there to other comedians, just because you seem like such a big fan of comedy that you want to see somebody shoot up the ranks. You know what I mean?
I love it. I remember recently I went to I think this story will probably, I think it'll surprise you. So I went to the roast, to the greatest roast of all time with, loved it. It was the best roast I've ever been to. Something you may not know about me. Jeff Ross and I brought the roast to Comedy Central about 20 years ago.
Huh.
Okay.
And so, I'm very familiar with the roasts, and I'm fortunate that I was a part of getting them back on television. And
let's go.
And I love Jeff Ross. Anyway, to make a long story longer, I go to the Comedy Store that night, and for those of you who don't know, the Comedy Store has like this really cool little bar downstairs called Ciro's. You have to go past the bar, down the stairs, and it's very, very small. It's like it's probably maybe a 25 by 25 foot room with a bar in it. And I've never been in that bar in my life up until that night. I've been invited into the bar, I've hung outside, I've done whatever, but in my mind, wrongly, most likely, talk about my mind, your mind, in my mind it's like, that's the comedian space. Yeah, but you see that manager in there and that agent, they're hanging. Yeah, well, they shouldn't be in there, because that's the sacred space for the comedians. In my mind, that's their place. That's their safe space. But that night, for some reason, I'm down there in the hallway, and I'm with Bruce Hills, who has been the CEO and the president of the Montreal Just for Laughs Festival or whatever, and he says, come on and have a drink with me in here. And for some reason, that night, I said yes.
Okay.
And I hung out with him because I'd been hearing things about the festival, what was going to happen, and I wanted to spend time with him because he's a big part of my life. Long story even longer, I'm sitting at the bar, and just people start coming in. Chappelle comes in. Bert Kreischer comes in. Andrew Schultz comes in. Tony Hinchcliffe, Shane Gillis, Sam J, Jeff Ross. Everybody you can imagine from this amazing night.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm there, and I get it's like so humbling, because I realize that I know my place. I know that I belong there. I know that, but so I just kind of sit back at the bar, and I just kind of just chill, just I'm here. Chappelle comes in, walks right over. Kreischer comes in, walks right over, and you get to realize that, these people who I represented for many, many years, you can have any thought in your mind you want, but it's all love. The community is really loving and supportive and caring, and I love those guys. And I had the time of my life. It was like the old days, just hanging out in the club.
Yeah.
But I only gave myself that moment after God knows how many 4 decades in the business.
Yeah.
Of going into that place. I only gave myself that moment, that one night, and I couldn't even sit across from you guys right now and be able to answer why I gave myself that moment that night. But it just felt right that night, and it was right, and it was just an amazing thing. Now, and I haven't gone down there since.
No.
because I really believe in the comedians and I believe in their sacred space and I want them to do well and it really excites me.
That's amazing, yeah.
So, and I want to help as many people as possible, and I know I can. I mean, I know there's people out there, if I listen to voices, there's people out there who think like I probably don't know what I'm talking about, or I don't have an insight into the business, or I've just, but I've seen everything. Everything that's possible you can imagine, I've seen it. It's incredible what when you represent Chappelle, the things that you see, and you're around the genius, Bill Burr, with like 8 years I've worked with him. It's like you're around somebody there's something happening,
Right.
Dane Cook presses a button and sells out 2 shows in one night at Madison Square Garden and Boston Garden.
Right.
And I'm fucking there.
Yeah.
Wanda Sykes, I get to be around her brilliance and her genius and her voice. Nick Swartzen, he came into my office with a spiral notebook, handwritten Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm faxing it to Jamie Kennedy and the Writers Fax Bar and Adam Small. I just can't even tell you all the things. Louis Anderson, just spending and managing him and just his genius and how he presented himself and how it was all about huggability and lovability.
Right.
The 2 most important things. And just, I feel like I've been on movie sets with Clint Eastwood and Pacino and, hung out with Hilary Swank and it's just crazy. Kate Hudson, Alec Baldwin. I've done documentaries, like I said, on where I interviewed the guy who says he killed John F. Kennedy from the grassy knoll. He was in prison for 50 years. I remember the guy, I finished the film and the guy called me, or his people called me and said, not happy about this. I don't think you should put this in the theaters. And I'm like, oh my God, it's over for me.
What are you gonna do?
Because there was 104 people who tried to get the story out who were killed.
Jesus.
And then after it aired the first night, I got the call saying that he liked it, and I was like, I'm safe another day. But what I'm saying is that I feel like I'm so blessed that I've been, anything can happen in this crazy business, and this can happen to you guys, it can happen to me. I'm from, are we in a dog park? What's happening here?
There's a little bit of a dog park going. I think they're excited about what you're saying too.
Yeah. But I'm like from Longmeadow, Massachusetts. I mean, it's like my father died when I was 4. I was a loner. I really didn't even know. I don't even know what happened, but it happened.
Yeah.
My son, my 20-year-old son, a music producer. I remember, he's struggling in school. He's having problems meeting people. He can't really. And he said, Dad, will you get me this music program and this computer? I want to. And I remember I bought this FL Studios and this whole setup for music production, the editing software, and it came. And I remember him opening it all up and plugging it all in and then just starting. And I'm like, excuse me, Zion, his name's Zion,
Yeah.
Can I just ask you a question? Like, don't you have to read the instructions? Don't you have to Dad, I got this. Mm-hmm. And now, like 5 years later, he has like 7 million streams. He has 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. He moved to New York and is creating and writing with a bunch of different writers and producers and performers.
The passion is everything.
My other son, Asher, 19, was playing loved chess, was playing chess on chess.com.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
I think
Murder.
the apocalypse is happening. I don't know what's happening here. Everybody, listen. If we're not done with this, don't worry.
We were not doing that to
So,
the
so
Totally normal. Happens all the time.
Okay. Sorry.
The dogs are safe.
If you go upstairs, tell them to shut up. They'll shut up.
Nah, we'll be alright.
He's leaving. Like that's the noise he makes when he leaves.
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, it's him and his wife. They scramble. They bark.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So my son Asher, he's on chess.com. He gets to the point where he's like 9,500 out of 23 million players.
Jesus.
And he's in it. He's playing every day. He's working every day. It's just like, it's every day. He's just like how you have to be great. He listens to an interview of Bobby Fischer. And essentially Bobby said in the interview, listen, chess is great for strategy, great for looking ahead, great for figuring out how to solve problems. But, you know, get out while you still can, because only the top 100 people in the world are ever going to have a chance of making any money. And even if you're in the top 100 and you win a competition, what are you going to win? 25,000, 50,000?
Right.
So that week, my son stopped that and sold 3 pairs of used Nikes and made $100 that week. This is a year ago. Okay? Last month, he sold 900 pairs of sneakers and made over $10,000. Got a storage space that's 15 by 15 in Santa Barbara, and just bought a Tesla.
Way to go.
Jeez. Amazing.
Okay? So if a fucking 19-year-old and a 20-year-old can blow me away from anything I did, I literally couldn't even find the sock to jerk off into. And these guys are doing, so everything is available to everybody now. If you want to learn how to do comedy, you want to be right, you can study every comedian. When I started, what did I have? A VHS tape?
Yeah, no YouTube. Yeah.
Of somebody on it.
Yeah.
You can study everything, you can learn everything, you can figure out everything. You have the whole, not to make a joke, but you have the whole blueprint of what to do and how to do it. And I know that my sons, you know, it's just, it comes from, there's nothing, and then there's something. Now with the music producer son, Zion, you know, even though he's probably made whatever through deals, maybe he's made enough that might be maybe what an assistant in an agency makes.
Right.
But the great part about comedy and music is that all it takes is one victory, and it's over.
Yeah.
So he writes 1,000 songs and 999 suck, and one is still Dre.
Yeah.
Right.
Then he's living in a mansion and he has the life he always dreamed of, and he still has the life he always dreamed of because he's having a great time and he's happy, and it's not always about
Passion, yeah.
whatever. My other son, if he can sell sneakers, then you can sell anything. You can sell boats, you can sell cars, you can sell real estate, you can sell office buildings, you can sell anything.
Right.
So there's, you know, when you learn that skill set, you can figure out comedy. You guys are learning that skill set, and you've learned a lot of it. You know, you've figured out a lot of it. And I go back to you because I think it's really important. It's the small victories. So for you, Ben, it's just what I would do if I were you. It's like kind of like AA. You know, like if you've been drunk and drinking and you go into the program and you're sober, and so the first day you go back to your meeting and you tell everybody, hi, my name is Ben, I'm an alcoholic, and I've gone 24 hours without drinking. Here's your chip, Ben. So for you, it's like, hey, my name is Ben, I'm a laughaholic, I've gone 24 hours without having doubts in my head that I'm not good enough.
Nailed it.
I've gone 24 hours where my last show I had the best set of the night. And I am ready for the next show. I went 24 hours where I was more prepared than I ever was in my life for success. And then there's the next day. And so in the next day, maybe you fuck off. You go off the wagon. But then the next day you get back on. And you start stringing those little victories together to where they're, they start, it's 1, then it's 7, then it's 24, and then it's 30, and then it's a year.
Right.
And then those victories, people start seeing the victories. They start seeing how you are. Now, Jason, I say this, you don't kill me. But it's like
It's only a look.
let's just say you started working out every day. Okay, you start working out. You're starting a workout regimen. You're starting to take care of your instrument, get healthier, so you're not as out of shape as you might be. You're not obese, but you're certainly
Gets my
out of
pudge.
shape.
Yeah.
Okay? So what happens, after a day? Nothing. 2 days, nothing. Sometimes 7 days, nothing. But after a month, people start noticing. You go into the clubs. Jesus, Jason, you fucking looking good, man. Yeah, I've been taking care of myself. Stop eating the shit, and I'm doing the thing. Then 6 months later, you're fucking ripped, and maybe your beard is clipped so it's you're like you're
Less murderous.
You're less murderous. Maybe you're dressing a different way, and people are like, "What the fuck happened to that guy?" It's like changing the listening, changing how people see
How
you.
people, everything.
And then you go on and you crush every single time, and it's like, holy shit, this guy is a force to be reckoned with. And people talk, comedians are like grandmothers. You gotta, that voice that's in your head. The key is to take that voice out of your head and put it in other people's heads. So they're walking in the club. Oh, fucking shit. Jason and Ben are here. Fuck, I can't believe it. I thought they weren't coming tonight. Fuck. Those guys always fucking kick the shit out of me. I'm following Ben. Oh, fuck. I know he talked to his mother about that bit at Bill.
Yeah.
This is wonderful.
For sure.
It's so true, though. It's so true. I love that analogy about you fall off the wagon, but you got to get on, get back on, get those negative thoughts out.
Well, yeah, for
And
sure.
I'm going to hit a treadmill so hard after this interview.
Yeah, right?
My God,
Jesus.
I'm going to be like, next time you see me, Barry, I'm going to be
Well, I will tell you this.
slightly better.
You're going to be slightly. I'll keep track. I'll email him pics.
Please.
At 19, when my daughter my girlfriend was pregnant and I was going to have my first kid, I got paperwork for USC brochures because I wanted to go to film school and do comedy in LA. That was a dream. At 19. I'm 48 now. I just moved here 4 months ago. I made promises and had to grow, get my kids where they needed to be and do life and whatever. And the entire idea was get here to do this. This is it. I'm doing it. I don't have to become famous. I just want to be hustling.
See what you just
I
did?
want to be working.
See what you just did?
What's that?
You just said something negative.
You took it away from
Did I?
yourself. Don't take it away from yourself.
Say it. What did I say?
I don't have to be famous. It's no big deal.
No. I'm just saying, like, I want to be known by my peers, and I want to be good at this.
And what
That's what I
happens
mean.
when you're known by your peers and you're good at this?
Well, yeah, I suppose you get famous in that regard.
And
But I
don't
just
get me
mean-
wrong, I don't want the audience to think that I think fame is necessary or whatever. I'm just saying that it's an unstoppable force that comes to you when you're the best at your craft.
Right.
And whatever, doesn't matter if you're making cupcakes on Cupcake Wars or if you're, tiny house selling tiny houses. If you're the best at it, you're going to be known at it.
That's why I moved here. That's what I want to do. That's the dream. So I don't, I don't look at the end of it, of whatever's going to come out of it. I just want to be, in a hustling and doing this and talking to you. That's it. I want to be in there hustling, and I want my peers to say what what you were saying. That I'm worried if I show up at the club, he's a nice guy, but you don't want to go, you don't want to beat him in a contest. He's going to get in that room. I want people to know that, like, that's how it's going to be. He's going to win. He's probably going to win.
All right, so fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm
here.
inspired.
It took
I'm
me a long
inspired.
time. Man, you're here.
You're here, but you're not really here. You're not here 100%.
I don't know.
Going for what you want. I don't believe you. Look me in the
eye. If you ask my kids, they'd be like, "You did it. You're here."
No, I know you're here.
Yes.
But look. I can go to Florida with the goal of going to Disney World, and I can go and park right next to Disney World and look at Disney World. Say, hey, I fucking did it. I came down here. I'm here, but I didn't go inside and ride. It's a small world after all. You know what I mean? So
these analogies are incredible. Love these.
I guess I'm saying that for me, the dream was always get there and work it, and then we'll take it to the next step. But it's going to take me forever to get out of Indiana.
You see what he just did again?
And I did it.
This is wonderful.
No,
I'm learning. I'm ready to lose weight and believe in myself. That's
you're
where I'm
champ.
at
Oh,
right.
you did get out of Indiana.
I got out.
You got out.
I got out. Look at this hair. I'm here. Thank you for being here. I know we took a ton of your time.
I hope I didn't hurt you guys too much.
No, sir, you inspired me tremendously. The way your mind works.
Yeah. I feel like every book I read, this is before the internet, and this is going to date me. You have a couple of pillars, a couple of theaters, a couple of places that you constantly run into, and everybody talks about those things. And one of the names that always comes up is you. Always. It's always. Well, he found me. Well, it always goes back to Barry Katz, but blah, 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 blah. It's always Barry Katz. And so this is a big deal for me.
Well, I want to be a good man. I want to be of service. I want to add value. But I also, love what I do, without doing this. But I want to be able to help without it hindering the other things that I do, and hopefully I've accomplished that.
Special thanks one more time to Barry Katz for joining us. This has been Getting Up. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.